Good morning, everyone. All right. Before we begin today's officials proceedings, I'm going to ask all of us to stand as we invoke God's blessings over the event this morning. All right. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, God. And Lord, we just ask that you be in the midst of what is going on today, Lord. We ask that you touch every single person in the room, Lord. And we thank you for the ability to just be here, Father, to read, to write, all of that. We thank you. Help us not to waste the gifts and the talents that we've been given. And Lord, I just ask that everybody has an amazing day this morning. This I ask in your almighty name. Amen. Amen. You may have your seats. Right. Chief Education Officer, Dr. Ramona Archer Bradshaw, personnel from the Ministry of Education Transformation, sponsors, parents and guardians, students, invited guests, members of the media, good morning. Good morning. All right. And welcome to the national launch and awards ceremony of the Make a Book project. I am Diara Springer, and it is my pleasure to be your MC for today's event. And fun fact, today is also International Children's Book Day. In case you did not know, now you know. But there it always happens on April 2nd. And April 2nd happens to be the birthday of Danish author Hans Andersen. And Hans Andersen, he is a popular children's writer. He is responsible for many of the movies that we may know got inspiration from his novels. So, if you love The Little Mermaid, anybody has watched Little Mermaid? Little Mermaid, the Snow Queen, which inspires Elsa from Frozen, all of those he was responsible for. So his birthday is celebrated as International Children's Book Day. And of course, there is no better place to be than right here in this room as we celebrate our young people who have, stepped into the role of being authors themselves. Yes. So to set the tone for this morning is an individual who has been consistent in advocating in the transformation in how our children learn, create, and lead. Please welcome Chief Education Officer Dr. Ramona Archer Bradshaw.
Thank you very much, Diara. Let me get my glasses. Governor Cynthia Blackman, the governor of the Eastern Canada and Caribbean District of Kiwanis International, Mr. Mark Pendry and Mrs. Pippa Chalice, Sandy Lane Charitable Trust, Ms. Tamara David, President Kiwanis Club, Pride of Barbados, Mr. Curtis Padmore, Team Lead, Make a Book Project, distinguished partners in education, representatives of government and the private sector, members of the media, teachers, parents, and most importantly, our children who are the student authors. Good morning. Good morning. It is truly a pleasure to join you on this very significant occasion because we not only celebrate the achievements of our children, but this represents the continued evolution of education transformation in Barbados. Let me begin by commending the All Global Group and the team behind the Make a Book project for your vision, your consistency, and your unwavering commitment when it comes to empowering our young people. I remember the meeting that we had some months ago with regard to the Make a Book project, and I remember the passion with which you conveyed your ideas. So thank you very much for your commitment to our young people. What you have created goes beyond just a program. It is really a platform for possibility. And within the Ministry of Education Transformation, we are about creating platforms for possibility for all of our children. And last year's inaugural launch marked a very pivotal moment. It demonstrated that when students are given a voice, when students are given a choice, they operate with purpose. They rise confidently, they are creative, and they are authentic. And today we continue to deepen and expand the work, and it is especially fitting that we gather on International Children's Book Day, a reminder that storytelling is very important. It is a powerful tool when it comes to identity, expression, and may I say, transformation. At the Ministry of Education Transformation, we are engaged in a very deliberate and necessary process of reimagining education in Barbados. The transformation is guided by our commitment to having a firm education system, where F represents fair, I inclusive, R relevant, and M is modern. And when we say fair, what do we mean? We want to ensure equitable access and opportunity to our students. In terms of it being inclusive, we want to make sure that we cater to all of our children. We want them to feel seen, supported, and valued. When we speak about the education system being relevant, it means that we want students to be able to see how their learning is connected to their everyday lives. And when we speak about being modern, it's about where innovation, technology, and forward-thinking practices converge, and the students can see that. This vision is not only a vision, but we are making tangible steps towards making this vision a reality. And I will speak now a little bit about our National Literacy Program, because this Make a Book project actually will build on that. The National Literacy Program was launched in September 2024, and it represented a decisive move to tackle the literacy challenges being experienced by our children across the system. And very recent national developments show measurable progress, with the percentage of students reading at the primary level increasing from 23% to 41%, and a new cohort of 26% of students now reading at the Infants B level. And these gains have been supported by structured, evidence-based interventions, including systematic phonics instruction. We targeted teachers, so over 587 educators have been trained in these structured literacy approaches. We have introduced a period across all primary schools, a period 35 minutes, where all children every day are supposed to be exposed to the rudiments of reading. We call it time to soar, time to strengthen our ability to read. And I must say, I must share with you that the program in general has reached over 6,400 students across 82 schools in Barbados. And this demonstrates scale and impact and the ministry's efforts when it comes to making sure that our children have a solid start. The Make a Book project builds directly on this strengthened foundation by extending literacy from the acquisition of knowledge to the application and the creation. And as students develop their reading and writing skills through these structured programs, this initiative provides the essential next step, which is transforming our students from just being learners to being creators. The impact of this initiative is already evident, because I understand that 29 books have been produced, with an additional 12 currently in publication for release next year. And I also understand that in the initial phase, the project is targeting the production of between 20 to 38 books. And I know that persons will come afterwards and speak a bit more about that. What is very interesting also about this initiative is the fact that it is targeting all students, but the demographic of male students are the ones who are producing a lot of work. And I love that. Male students accounted for 62% of the submissions, reflecting a meaningful shift in participation. Among the standout contributors are Aaron Ward, a two-time winner, and Brianna Drakes, a three-time winner, both of whom exemplify sustained excellence and creativity. And these students engaged in authorship, they developed ideas, they did writing, they illustrated, they revised, and they published while sharing their work with authentic audiences, real audiences, people that can see and feel the work. And this ensures that literacy is actively used, reinforced, and deepened through purposeful creation. The Make a Book project really advances our national literacy drive. I mentioned this before because our students are not just consuming material, they are creating the material. And I remember our Prime Minister several years speaking about the fact that she wants us to move from being consumers to being creators. And this is the reason also why this ministry held on to this project, because it makes that very real for us. You know that as part of the education transformation agenda, we are reviewing curricula, we are strengthening literacy outcomes, we are equipping our teachers with the knowledge, the attitudes, and the skills to be effective within the classroom, because our focus is clear. We want to create meaningful, authentic learning experiences that not only prepare our students for exams, but that prepare our students for everyday life. These students are telling their stories, they're discovering their voices, they're developing identity, confidence, and agency. They're recognizing what they think, why they're thinking it, what they feel, and what they are creating is actually of value. So students, today we celebrate you. Your voices matter, your stories matter, your ideas indeed matter. You are pioneers in this new model of learning. Within your creativity lies the power to inspire and to influence others and also to shape our future. Not only your future, our future. To our partners, your support is both valued and very necessary. Education transformation indeed requires collaboration, commitment, and a shared vision. The Make a Book project is helping us to realize that vision. So I encourage all of us, let us continue to support it. Let us continue to invest in our children, and let us continue to transform education so that it is fair, inclusive, relevant, and modern. I therefore extend heartfelt congratulations to all the awardees today. A nation of future authors awaits us, and through a Make a Book project, we are nurturing their voices and empowering them to shape their stories, our stories, define our identity, and write the future of Barbados with confidence, creativity, and purpose. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Archer Bradshaw, and not only to you, but also to the team at the Ministry of Education Transformation for pouring into the students across Barbados and pouring into the Make a Book project. And what stood out to me in your address was when you said, you're taking the students from just being learners, but also to being creators. And that is what the Make a Book project is all about. And it shows that you don't have to just be a writer when you get in your 20s, 30s, but you could start from your teenage years or even preteen years as well. And now we're actually going to see some of the book covers for last year's winners, 11 book covers. And even in this process, the children were involved. They didn't directly design the book covers, but I spoke with Curtis earlier before the start of the event, and he said that they had a say in what style they wanted for the book covers. So it's good to see that they were even involved in that aspect. So now I believe a video will be played, so please direct your attention to the screen.
Welcome to the Make a Book Project's National Launch and Award Ceremony, held on April 2nd, International Children's Book Day. We extend our sincere gratitude to all the partners and sponsors who helped make this project possible. This is a look at the book Ari Perry and Jordan's Toolbox of Calm, inspired by the Sandy Lane Charitable Trust's primary school counseling program for developing emotional strength. Next is Community Star Performers, which draws inspiration from the Sandy Lane Charitable Trust's community outreach and youth empowerment programs. This book, Keisha's Back to School Journey, is inspired by the Sandy Lane Charitable Trust and the Eden Lodge Youth Charitable Trust Partnership. Magic in a Grocery Bag is a story inspired by the Sandy Lane Charitable Trust's Feed a Family program. Here is Nico's Heart of Gold, inspired by the Sandy Lane Charitable Trust and the Queen Elizabeth Hospital Partnership. Operation Hope Sky is inspired by the Sandy Lane Charitable Trust's support of the World Pediatric Project. This is Tariq's New Path, also inspired by the Sandy Lane Charitable Trust support for the World Pediatric Project. The book The Call for Hope is inspired by the Faith Marshall Harris Helpline, supported by the Sandy Lane Charitable Trust. Wheels of Freedom is inspired by the Sandy Lane Charitable Trust's annual wheelchair project, promoting mobility for all. Finally, Zara Sees Sunshine is inspired by the Sandy Lane Charitable Trust's focus on special needs early childhood education, specifically the Sunshine Early Stimulation Center and John Payne.
All right, so those are the 11 book covers. And I don't know about you, but I know about me. And I know that I'm definitely interested to get my hand on one of those books. And if you are too, no fear, because they will be in the near future. They're going to be distributed via Book Fusion, as well as a limited run in the National Library Service. So look out for that if you're interested as well. And now, the moment that we have all been waiting for, we are going to see the faces behind those book covers that we just saw. And at this time, I'm going to invite Miss Philippa Chalice, trustee of the Sandy Lane Charitable Trust, and she will be making the presentation to our winners this morning. All right, so students, as you hear your name, feel free to come forward and, just pause so that our partners in the media, they can get a nice photo of you as well. Aaron Ward. Aaron's story is entitled Jordan's Toolbox of Calm. Anaya Atkins. Is Anaya here with us? Okay. Ethan Joseph. And Ethan wrote 2 books, The Call for Hope and Zara Sees Sunshine. Ethan Lashley. All right, don't see Ethan with us this morning. Jasmine Evenson. And Jasmine's story is Keisha's Back to School Journey. Jedediah. Jedediah. Is that right? Jedediah. Yes. Jedediah Thompson. And Jedediah, he wrote 2 books, Breakfast for Brave Hearts and Community Star Performers. Joa Rose Evenson. And her book is Nico's Heart of Gold. Josiah Thompson. Josiah's story is Operation Hope Sky. And last but certainly not least, Khalil Williams. Khalil's story is Wheels of Freedom. Okay. All right. Let us give another round of applause for all our winners. And of course, none of this would happen without people who choose to invest in our young people, and not just financially, but also those who believe in them. And one of those believers has been the Sandy Lane Charitable Trust. Yes, you can give them applause. And at this time, I'll invite Mr. Mark Pendry to give some reflections. And he is the trustee at the Sandy Lane Charitable Trust. Give him a round of applause.
I believe all protocols have been established this morning, so I will just say good morning, and especially to our young authors. It truly is an honour to join you all here today on a day that does celebrate the power of story that endeavours to inspire, educate, and transform lives. On behalf of the Sandy Lane Trust, I'd like to extend sincere thanks to the Make a Book project team, especially Mr. Curtis Padmore, for this invitation and the remarkable work both you and your team continue to do in advancing literacy and creativity amongst our nation's youth. Whilst this initiative is being delivered in collaboration with the National Library Service, we were proud to have sponsored the entire summer edition of the programme last May with a contribution of $42,000 Barbados dollars. This special edition of the project achieved something truly meaningful. It engaged students from across Barbados at the National Library Service summer camp, blending storytelling, literacy development, and exposure to national initiatives. It especially highlighted the work that the Sandy Lane Charitable Trust by encouraging campers to explore and learn about 12 of our transformational projects. It challenged these young minds to translate their learning into original written compositions. These stories were born from understanding, creativity, and purpose. And today, those stories have been made into 11 beautifully illustrated books. Even more inspiring is the fact that these books will now be accessible globally through the National Library Service and digital platforms, ensuring that the voices of these students and the impact of these initiatives reach audiences across Barbados and hopefully beyond. At the Sandy Lane Charitable Trust, we believe deeply in investing in people, especially our young people. We believe in nurturing not just academic ability, but imagination, confidence, and a sense of national pride, which is exactly what we see here today. This project has not only created books, but it has also created authors. It has empowered students to see themselves as storytellers, as thinkers, and as contributors to the Barbados narrative. To all our student winners, today we are celebrating you. And as it's already been said, your words do matter, your ideas matter, and more importantly, your voices matter. You have taken knowledge and you've turned it into creativity. You have taken inspiration and turned it into something lasting. And in doing so, you have become ambassadors of literacy and imagination for your peers. We are incredibly proud of you all. As we stand at this milestone moment, the transition from a successful pilot scheme into a national movement, we are excited about what lies ahead. The expansion of partnerships, the integration of these books into schools and libraries, and the growth of our youth all signal one thing: this is only the beginning. The Sandy Lane Charitable Trust is proud to have played a role in this journey, and we remain committed to supporting initiatives that empower our young people and strengthen this great nation. I am honoured to be here with you all today as we recognise their excellence, and I congratulate not only them, but also all those whose work has brought this initiative to life. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pendry, and we are, of course, proud to have the Sandy Lane Charitable Trust on board with us. Next, we will be speaking about the unveiling of a collaboration to integrate the student-authored books into reading programs in schools and libraries across the island. And this next person will also be speaking of the work that the Kiwanis has been doing. So please welcome Governor of the Eastern Canada and Caribbean District of Kiwanis International, Cynthia Blackman.
See, we have some Kiwanians in the house. And thank you, Master of Ceremonies, Dr. Ramona Archer Bradshaw, Chief Education Officer of the Ministry of Education Transformation, Mr. Mark Pendry, Philippa Chalice, trustees of Sandy Lane Charitable Trust, Mr. Curtis Padmore of the Make a Book Project, 2025 winners and stakeholders, good morning. It truly is a pleasure to speak at this national launch and awards ceremony as Governor of the Eastern Canada and the Caribbean District of Kiwanis International, as only the second Barbadian to hold this position. Let me begin by congratulating the Ministry of Education Transformation, the Media Resource Department, the Make a Book Project team, and all stakeholders for what we are witnessing here today. This is not just a launch, it is a statement about who we are as a country and what we believe about our children. I also want to specially acknowledge the Sandy Lane Charitable Trust for its continued investment in our youth and in initiatives like this that create real, lasting impact. Today, as we mark International Children's Book Day, we're doing more than celebrating books. We're celebrating voices. Young, creative, bold Barbadian voices that are finally being given the platform they deserve. And this is where the moment becomes especially meaningful for Kiwanis. As Governor of the Eastern Canada and the Caribbean District, I have the privilege of serving over 7,600 members across more than 280 clubs in over 18 Caribbean islands and Eastern Canada. That reach gives us a unique perspective. We see firsthand how initiatives like this can transform not only our organization, but more importantly, the lives of children across our entire district. Across Eastern Canada and the Caribbean, we are united by one purpose: improving the lives of children. Literacy has always been at the heart of our work. Our global mission in Kiwanis is simple: to improve the world one child and one community at a time. This alliance with the Make a Book Project is a clear example of that mission in action. Here in Barbados, our Kiwanis clubs have long supported reading programs in schools, donated books, created reading corners, and engaged children through storytelling. Across the wider district, that work continues through book drives, early literacy initiatives, and partnerships with schools and libraries. But today, we take that commitment one step further. This strategic alliance with the Make a Book project is powerful because it shifts the narrative. It is not just about giving the children books, it is about empowering them to become authors, creators, and contributors to their own learning journey. When a child picks up a book written by someone just like them, someone who understands their world, their language, their experiences, reading becomes different. It becomes relatable. It becomes exciting. It becomes theirs. And that is how we build a culture of reading that lasts. So through this partnership, Kiwanis will support the integration of these student-authored books into reading programs across schools and libraries in Barbados. But more importantly, we will show up. We will show up in schools and we will read, sometimes even using puppetry to bring the stories alive. We will show up in libraries and create spaces for imagination. And we will show up in communities to ensure storytelling reaches children where they are. Because this work is not confined to just the classrooms. You can find Kiwanians right now reading with children in communities, even in places like Hayman's Market, creating moments of learning and of joy. So today, we begin with the Kiwanis Club Pride of Barbados as the first club on board, but with 9 other Kiwanis clubs across Barbados, our key clubs in the secondary schools, and the Circle K Club at the University of the West Indies, our reach will grow and our impact will deepen. With the strength of our district, this initiative has the potential to extend beyond our shores. Conversations have already begun, and there is a real opportunity for this model to be shared across the Eastern Canada and the Caribbean, and even further into the global Kiwanis network. And I know we've already started that discussion with 2 districts within the US. But just imagine this for a moment. Stories created by Barbadian students being read by children across the region and the world, inspiring creativity, building confidence, and encouraging literacy in a way that feels authentic and meaningful. That is what happens when vision, partnership, and purpose come together. So today, I also want to extend a challenge as we recognize World Autism Awareness Day. And as a parent of a child who is on the spectrum, I want us to be a little bit more intentional. I also want us to seek out some more students who may have disabilities, whose voices are not always heard, but who have something to contribute. So let's create a space for them. Let's listen to them, and let's embrace their imagination, because their stories matter too. And often their stories have the power to inspire, to teach, and to open our eyes in ways that we may not expect. So the students being recognized here today, and to those who will sign up, remember, your voice matters more than you may realize right now. You are not just writing stories, you are shaping how other children will see themselves, how they will dream, and how they will believe in what is possible. To the Make a Book project team, thank you for trusting Kiwanis to be a part of this journey. This is what strong collaboration looks like. Each of us bringing our strengths together to create something greater than what we can achieve alone. So as we move forward, let's continue to invest in our children, not only as readers, but as you heard earlier, as thinkers, as creators, and as leaders. Because when we empower their voices, we're not just building literacy, we're actually building a future. Thank you very much for having me.
That was beautifully said. Thank you so much, Governor Cynthia Blackman. And I think it's really cool because I can see it already. Children reading books that were created by other children. I think that's so cool. And they would be inspired and get that feeling of, well, if this person could do it, I could do it too. You know, I think that is beautiful. So thank you so much for that. And at this time, we are going to hear from the gentleman who has been behind it all. And he will be speaking about the successes that the Make a Buck project has achieved, but also he's going to be going into what we can look forward as the project moves ahead. At this time, I invite the team lead for the Make a Buck project, Mr. Curtis Padmore.
I like to raise the mic because my voice is very gentle. With all protocols waived, I can speak freely and from the heart. And I want to go a little further back in time. A story that I haven't fully shared, but one that I think resonates with me, especially last Sunday as well. It starts with my little nephew, Aaron. He's my favorite nephew. And in fact, he's very well behaved. He got a best behavior certificate at the end of school term. But Aaron actually has a story, and it's one where he wasn't doing so well in his comprehension and composition. And I remember sitting at the table one evening discussing with Aaron, and the idea popped in my head, maybe Aaron would be inspired if we had him write a story. And if he wrote that story and he saw it as a storybook, maybe he'd think writing is really fun. So Aaron actually was the very first Make a Book project, my own little personal project. And Aaron was writing, I think his compositions were at C. And his mom sent me his report just a day or two ago, I think, actually yesterday, I think it's yesterday. And I'm happy to report that Aaron is now at a B level. And I really saw the change when he saw the encouragement. And yes, it requires family support, it requires the teachers. It's all, I guess, the holy trinity of the school, parent and teacher, but being able to inspire the child to love it, I think, is also the secret sauce. And I'm hopeful that the Make Book Project helps to add to that by inspiring children to see the beauty and joy, not just in imagining and the writing, all of that creativity is necessary, but being inspired to want to be better, to work hard. That's why we have a competition framework, so you can do the research so that the project not just is confined within the boundaries of literacy, but crosses into social studies. So now you get to learn about our partners and sit down with the other teachers and parents, so that becomes a much more holistic activity of learning, so that you can birth something that isn't just an interesting read, but it's also educational and informative. And if I can go back to Aaron's story, Aaron actually had a story published, in fact, at our very first pilot back in 2024 with the National Library Service. Aaron's story was shown to those children at that beginning pilot to inspire them. And out of that pilot allowed us to have enough data and enough refinement that we could scale in 2025 and embrace our first round of partners, which then led to another round with the Stanley Lane Charitable Trust. And since then, we've been evolving and building out our systems to have a broader perspective, one where we see the development of the education transformation to be one that is powered by technology, as this is probably the most transformative age of our time, where we get to leverage so much of it to do good. And we can just, for full transparency, I did teach for 2 years, but the majority of my professional career has been in software and technology, and it fits my INTJ personality type, if you're a Myers-Briggs follower. But it's still necessary to evolve into the development and seeing long term. And we see the Make a Book project not just evolving through the development of books, but the broader spectrum of the language arts and imagining how we could support that and even math so that the learning and development gets power. There's some really interesting things that we have planned, and not just the developments with our partners, but from a perspective of supporting education at a very broad and innovative level. One where I think we can truly do something, I guess the simple word would be special, and leave a very significant impact for, well, not just our children, but perhaps even our children's children. In fact, when Diara highlighted the imagery of a child inspiring another child, I like to evolve it a little further so that we could see that child one day becoming a parent and have the image in your head of that child now reading to their one child as a parent the very book that they wrote as a child. I think that would be a very, I'm almost moved to tears at that imagery. I think that would be a very poignant image. And I'd like to say stay tuned. It's a little cliche, but stay tuned to what we have in store. I think our growing relationships with all of our partners, especially the Ministry of Education Transformation, could be special. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Curtis, and thank you for making this possible. When I was younger, I really wish that I had these kind of initiatives going on. So thank you for doing this, and thank you for, giving hope and giving the opportunity really for these students to be an active participant in their learning. Thank you. All right. Now we're going to land this plane. And of course, we could not have done it without several people. So I just want to acknowledge those people at this moment. From within the public sector, we have the Ministry of Education Transformation, Every Child Barbados, Central Bank of Barbados, the Youth Entrepreneurship Scheme, Barbados National Standards Institution, the Bureau of Gender Affairs, Barbados Fire Service, and the National Council on Substance Abuse. From the private and banking sector, we have the Barbados Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the Barbados Private Sector Association, the Barbados Bankers Association, and Affinity Plus Credit Union. From NGOs and international sector, we have the Sandy Lane Charitable Trust, the Barbados National Trust, Barbados Cancer Society, Barbados Alzheimer's Association. From the industry and tourism sector, Chukka Caribbean Adventures, Cricket Legends of Barbados, Walker's Institute for Regenerative Research, Education and Design, and from our supporting partners, the National Library Service, the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc., Scotty's Fresh Market, Fusion's Boutique, and Buck Fusion. Let us give them all a big round of applause. And of course, I also wanted to give a big shout out to the parents and guardians for giving your children the opportunity to be involved in this and for supporting them. Thank you, parents. And of course, another big congratulations to all our winners this morning. And of course, keep writing and keep inspiring. I am Diara Springer once again, and it has been my pleasure to be your MC for today's event. We have a long weekend ahead, so whatever you do, please be safe and do enjoy. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of your day. Now that is the official end of the event, but of course, partners in the media any questions that they might